What's up, guys? So we have some Arcehage news here. So this is a survey that happened for the Fresh Start servers on North America. So this is a very interesting thing. They give out some survey results, and let's just jump into it. This is a cool thing. I hope they do this for Arc World as well. So the same company, Exo Games, runs Arcehage that runs Arc World. It's the same kind of world, but different rules and different game style. So this is the Arcehage Unchained North America fresh starts that were supposed to actually feed in to the other servers. They were progression servers that were sped up dramatically with boosts. So let's see here. So the first thing was, what will happen to the fresh start servers after 3 months? Because originally their plan was 3 months, and then the servers would blow up, and you would be forced to transfer into a existing server. They were going to be used to boost the existing legacy servers. Well, this question was in their survey here. And because they said one of the most common questions we saw was what would happen to the servers once 3 month period was over, and with some demand to keep Storm Raw and Arcadian open, and add a new fresh start server. So I guess those are the names of these servers here. And so you can see the poll here, the answer, when fresh start server ends, which server would you like to transfer to? And the overwhelming majority, 69%, say they want to stay on this server and then have a new fresh start server open. Which is very interesting, as the original plan was to have the server go kaboom and make you transfer into the other servers. So only 11.8% said they want to transfer into Kairos/Nigeria, and then only 19.2% said they want to transfer into Erdian Kraken. So that was a very, very interesting poll. So with this, they said 69%, nice, confirmed that staying on the current server and opening a new server was your preference. With this in mind, we'll endeavor to do just that. However, we need to adjust our previous plan, and that will have an impact on how optionally server transfers will be handled. We'll update you with more details as soon as we can. So the Fresh Start server is a little bit over 1 month old now, and they're already adjusting and showing you, okay, well, let's change this. But it's crazy to think that their original plan, and they told everyone, yeah, these are going to be used as buffs to the existing servers, is now just thrown out the window. And the people that play this server, they just enjoy the server more and want to stay there. Like, they don't want this to end, right? So it's really cool that they're listening to feedback, but it's really shitty for existing legacy servers. And so this is why I tell people, like, Arcade has always just been a game that just is so weird, right? Like, the legacy servers are just so screwed with past exploits and bugs and issues that people don't want to play on legacy servers. There are some hardcore players that have been playing for nearly 10 years on these legacy servers, and they've gone through countless server merges and transfers and so forth. But a lot of people realize how just screwed up and messed up the economies are, the games are, how unfair they are, and they don't want to play on a server that is so just kind of like gone to shit, pretty much. Like, they feel like it's so unfair, and you'll never be able to catch up. You'll never be able to progress to the same levels, because I mean, it's true. In a game like this, someone who's played for 5 years is going to be significantly stronger than you. But the fact is, they have catch-up mechanics and boosts and things like that, so they try and get people on even playing fields. But if there was a crazy exploit or bug that was not actioned in the past, which that was kind of how they handled things, they just kind of swept things under the rug, didn't really action things too much, didn't really ban players, and the RMT was rampant everywhere. So like, these things all just compound and just keep growing into bigger and bigger issues. There were certain points in the game's life where crafting recipes were just broken, and you could actually craft infinite money, pretty much. Like, these things had happened in the past of Arcade. Not exactly Arcade Unchained, because Unchained is a new, different version. This was about 5 years old now for Unchained, maybe a little bit less. But same thing there. Obviously, there probably was some bugs and exploits that have just plagued the old servers. So crazy to think, though, that they're going to listen to the players, which is what they should be doing, obviously, and then actually, make adjustments here and start a new fresh start server in 3 months, and about 2 more months, and then just keep the existing one with the boost. So then the next question was the level of boosting applied on the fresh start server sufficient? This fresh start was intended to give a different experience and allow players to speed through the early game content and gear up quicker. Although we had projections on where we expected players to be by the end of the server, we can never be certain that our expectations match up with yours until the results are in. So the result of this was an overwhelming yes. Would you like to see the same or similar boost applied for future fresh start servers? And the answer was overwhelming yes. 89.3% said yes on this question. And then while we definitely feel some tweaks can be made for future fresh starts in order to help ease various bottlenecks within the game, we were overall happy with the boosting levels and 89% of you agreed. One of the bottlenecks is obviously labor, and it's a fairly even split over whether enough was provided to progress. And so the next question was, we increased the amount of labor available on Fresh Start via free labor recharges and elixirs. Was this enough to progress sufficiently? So 53.1% said yes, and 46.9% said no. And then so they said, we'll review that in time for the next fresh start, although no decision has been made whether it will be altered yet. Overall, it seems like just from this wording that they're going to look at it, and then they're probably going to increase it slightly just to give these numbers a little bit bigger push, because it's about an even split here almost. Very, very, very close, with a lot of players saying no, it was not enough, that they would like to have more. So, making the players happy is the end goal, right? If the players are happy, then generally they should be, buying more stuff and playing the game longer and enjoying the game. So making the players happy is a priority for, a game company. At least it should be a priority for the game company, right? You would think. And then the last question here, it looks like server population. The server population is obviously important to the overall health of Arcehage. With large groups necessary to enjoy all of the major content, most of you reported being happy with the levels of activity. How crowded does the server feel was the question. And the number one answer was 36.5%, said quite populated. And the next answer was at very populated at 24.9%. And then the third answer was 24.6, just right. And fourth up was not very crowded at 12.5%. And then it doesn't even tell us what the percentage is. It says empty. So there's a slight sliver. There was a couple people that said empty, so maybe a 1% or something like that, which is very interesting because if you look at Reddit, so I haven't personally, this is one of the first fresh start servers on Arcehage that I did not actually play. I've played about like 7 fresh start North America servers before, 6 or 7, right? I played almost every single one of the fresh start servers, and within the first couple of weeks on Reddit, the activity was gone, and there's no longer any official forums, it looks like, that I could find for the North America game servers. So the only official places that we have are Reddit. Well, not official, but the only places that we have for interaction and community is Reddit, and then the Arcehage Discord, which I'm actually not a part of in the Arcehage Discord, so I can't see the conversations and stuff that's going on in there. But the activity in Reddit is completely like dead, and it died off within like a week or two of the fresh start server. There was a slight hype and uptick, but overall it was just like dead now. Like the posts there from a month ago are still on the front page, and it's like top 10, top 5 Reddit posts from like a month ago. It doesn't matter if you upvote or downvote because there's not enough people interacting with the pages and so forth. It's crazy. And then someone posted like, hey, how are the fresh start servers doing, like, and then the most common response is they're dead, like, it's over kind of thing. Like very, very interesting that this poll, the players in the game think that the server is overwhelming majority like healthy, so just right or healthy. Like over 75% are either just right, quite populated, or very populated. So this is very telling that the people think that whether the server population is 1,000 players or 2,000 players or 3,000 players or whatever it is, right, that they think that it is enough, that they're happy with the amount of players. And this goes back to me originally talking about like, hey, how many players do you need to have on a server to enjoy the game? And it really comes down to me, I think it's like as long as you have at least 500 players on the game, the server will feel alive and interactive, and like you will have groups, you'll have parties, you'll have raids with 500 people that are actually playing the game. So like you don't need thousands upon thousands of players, and if you actually have thousands upon thousands of players, then it becomes actually overpopulated in a sense where it's too hard to finish quests, too hard to finish mobs, and farm bosses and do those kind of things. Like sure, some PvP is good, right? Some PvP is what you want, but you don't want 3 raids fighting over one boss. And Arcehage is a little bit different because Arcehage actually has co-raids, so you can have raids of 100 people. So generally in Arcehage, I think the battles end up being 100 versus 100 a lot of times in like PvP contests. Well, actually, there was one more question. Botting and hacking in RMT have been rampant through previous fresh starts. So it's good that they acknowledge this. One of the objectives has been to combat these issues and deliver a fair and more competitive experience in Arcehage. We've been aggressively pursuing these activities and taking strong action. We even tried a few new initiatives and methods, including a community-led reporting team that had more direct access to our hacker hunt team. So that's kind of cool. We've taken a solid stance against botting and hacking. How do you feel about the amount of botters and hackers in the game? And the question had overwhelming majority at 76.7. There are less, which is great to see that people are actually believing them and seeing less. And then 16.5 said it's about the same. And then there was a couple that said there are more. A small percent. They don't give us the number there. And then so they finally said, we are glad to see most of you feel our efforts have made an impact, but we know there's still work to be done. We'll keep improving our methods and continue to reduce the amount of nefarious activities within the game. Final message. We want to thank all our players, both established and new, and hope that you are all still enjoying the experience. We'll continue to review the process and participation and use our findings to adjust future fresh starts to ensure that experience remains fresh and improves with each iteration. Finally, thank you to all that filled out the survey, and a reparation crate will be sent out to everyone that responded. Arcehage team. So very, very cool. This is stuff that we need to be seeing in Arc World as well. So for those that don't know, if you're just here for Arcehage information, thank you for watching. But there's also a game called Arc World, which is in the same world, but is a more PvP crypto based game. So it arguably is more pay to win than the Arcehage fresh start servers and so forth, right? And there's a lot less content. So it's generally not going to be for the players of Arcehage. Anyone that played Arcehage, though, will have a significant advantage playing Arc World, especially in the North America release server. So North America server does not exist right now. We're going to get that at the beginning of Q1 at 2023 is the ATA. And when we do get that, your skill set from Arcehage will transfer over your combat, abilities, your skills, your classes, and such. There are slight differences in gearing and stats and abilities, but for the most part, the combat and fighting style is, identical to Arcehage. So anyone that is a really good PvP or actually has played Arcehage for a long time will have a significant advantage in this free-to-play crypto game, right? And you can actually earn a bunch of money. Like, the Asian server is now about 2 months old, and there have been a bunch of players that have earned hundreds upon hundreds, even a couple thousands of dollars actually, that were very good, very smart Arcehage old players that knew what they were doing and progressed as a free-to-play player or very, very small investment, $50, $100, and turned that into, like I said, $1,000. So the early game is just like all the fresh start servers, where the early game, there's so much money to be had, so many advantages that can be had for players that are smart or have played or have good skills, good PvP activity. So it's definitely something to keep an eye on. Even if you hate crypto games and even if you hate, NFTs and things like that, like, I wouldn't let that blind hate that you have, or that hate that you have for crypto, whether it's, merited or not, take away from the fact that you could have incredibly good PvP for at least the first month or two of a server, just like in the Arcehage, and it's very, very fair actually for the first couple of weeks. The gear score is significantly different, but in Arc World, it's about 12,000 for a free-to-play player, and in the first like month, the top like whale was at like 14,000. So you can see there was a very small disparity, and then like the top 100 players were at like 1,200, like 3 gear score. So it was very, very close gear score wise, and the power difference is not that much. So anyway, that was a little Arc World pitch, I guess, for you guys. If you are interested in a fresh start experience with different kind of rules and things, there will be a new fresh start server in about 2 months, and then there will be Arc World at the beginning of Q1 2023. So you got a lot of cool Arcehage things coming out in the next couple of months, and I will see you guys in the next